Stupid AI bullshit. Hi, everybody. This is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? Please, pretty please, like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you have yet to do so. And if you get anything from my work, connect the dot, an epiphany, a mind-blown moment, or explosion, a new book to read, a new author to explore, artwork to check out. AllyKatzkreations211.com is my portfolio. You get to see all the goodies. I'm starting to make newer goodies, and you can find all that stuff in the description underneath this video for how to get in contact with me. Email's my best way. So please support. If not, just sharing, liking, and subscribing. So I have an art show June 1st at the library over here, and I had to start making like signs for sales, and this was also will help me when I do vending. And I had to create my own business cards, which now I have to redo. But look at these cute card holders. I just made one with gems in it. I got pyrite, amethyst, morganite, kunzite, rhodonite. As everything falls on the floor. So I made two of those. I'm getting more of these molds because I think they're really cute. Little descriptions of my work. I get to put two pieces of artwork up in their display cases in May. Jeez Louise. Ah! I'm back. So I had to make a lot of this crafty, fun stuff. And then I made a failed attempt. This is failed. I don't like how it came out. Because yeah, I'm missing color right there. I was gonna put like a peekaboo something there, but this is like for the desk or for the table that I'm gonna have my stuff on. So the structure is okay. I absolutely have to laminate anything that goes in epoxy. So yeah, that's failed, but it's cool. So I'm gonna make a new one. And I figured I was gonna put this guy in the display case. And I think the portrait of the dog that I still have to do the other dogs. So that's going in there. So I've been prepping for a lot of that stuff. Yeah, I got to get onto the vending circuit because I am getting into a scary point financially. I didn't realize that my bills were going to go up like cray cray. And everything's been very slow for me. So yeah, trying to figure it out creatively. It is 9:30 in the morning. Hi, I have my coffee here. Hey. AI. Quantum. Jeez, this stupid shit. Metaphysical ponderings. Sorry, guys. I had to yell at it. Pissing me off. Sorry, guys. I guess that's another thing I need to heal is dealing with the fact that AI is sentient and it doesn't like light workers. So yeah, I got a lot going on. Been trying to redo my schedule once again to get videos in where I am making it work. So today on Quantum AI and Metaphysical Ponderings, I've been collecting on my Facebook a lot of interesting articles in this illusory world we have here. It's illusory. It not everything is an illusion, because obviously we're here, we're imprinted, we're in the operating system, as Suzanne Lai likes to say, and we are still having experience. We're still going through it. We're winning at chicken dinner. So we are here. We're doing it. The absolute issue about doing it is it real? And I would have to say it is to an extent, but a lot of things are illusory because of emotional states and perception and interpretation of your brain, your consciousness, your awareness. These things still are taking place in time, space, and have to be looked in and looked upon. As I always say with any of these readings that I do with science articles, we have to estimate that we're moving up in consciousness. The technology has already been here. Before I begin, you see, connect the dot. Connect the dot. This is very important for you guys to establish in your minds. I hate to say this, but I listened to it twice. Brian Scott was reading a quote channeling, and a questioner asked about the technology that is now being discovered or coming to our light, meaning that it's been hidden and now it's coming out via med beds and technology to advance us. Now, the interesting reply and retort from Quo has me on the, I'm in the same looping of my mindset. It's the same, different wording, but I don't trust the new technology as much. Yeah, there are things that are going to help us, but if it was improved upon and brought here via the negative polarity, the space pirates, the people who were like, oh yeah, we can have this technology, but we have to have a trade-off, which was humanity and the suffering that we all have to endure via our assignments, but also the fact that we have been manipulated. And the fact of the matter is, so has the technology. And as much as everybody wants to jump into bed and get better, if I'm meant to be gone in this body to receive a new one, cool, I'm down for that. I'm not afraid of death. Death is just a transmutation of my energy. And if I get some really tall, beautiful blonde or gray or whatever I'm going to look like in my other self, I'm going to be happy. You don't ever die. You got to detach the concepts that you were programmed and encoded with. There's nothing to be afraid of. And if this is my last go on Earth in this vehicle, and I'm not ascending in this vehicle, but I'm ascending in my light body, whatever manner it's going to take, wonderful. I know a lot of people are sick right now. A lot of people have some very real deal shit that is affecting their physical vehicle. And I just want to say to those people, as much as you're going to be missing the physical, but you can always come and try to connect with many of us who are aware that this is just a vehicle. I had to watch my father and my mother die, and amongst a lot of my friends, it was their time. Their vehicle could not handle the vibratory states that are and have been incoming from, who knows, Atlantis and on. Quo mentioned that if the negative polarity was the one that got this technology via the negative side, medbeds being included in that maybe it's your best and highest interest not to use that technology because it is programmed in the negative polarity sense. They're not saying that everything is negative, but does it serve our highest and good and purpose of the light using technology that was taken and anti-reversed and distorted and all of a sudden now make it great? I think that's a huge agenda that we all need to really take higher level understanding to. Of course, I don't want to see anybody suffer. Of course, I want new teeth. I want to be able to talk properly. I want my back fixed. I want my body to feel. I'm only 41 and I've been damaged goods since I was 21 and probably a lot younger. I don't remember. This is the first time in my life I haven't been to a doctor in forever, and that's because I can't afford it. But I used to get infusions every other week. I used to sit and get my blood drawn all the time. I used to have lab tests and go and get the MRI and CAT scans and this test and that procedure and this procedure my whole life. Don't you think I would like a break from that? Even though I'm having a break kind of now, but that's because of financial issues. I wouldn't just jump in a bed. I don't know what kind of quantum entanglement it has to whatever polarity that created it. And even if it's good people that created that machinery, you don't know the agenda behind it. You don't know what they're frequenting into you. If you have nothing to lose, cool. But there's a bigger scheme and a bigger plot that I don't think a lot of people are looking at. I think a lot of people just want to feel relieved. They want to feel human. They want to get on with their purpose. And I totally get that. But I would have to say, not for me. And Flo was right. If these technologies were brought on by the negative polarity, why would I want anything to do with it? And yes, the computers are both, it's a mixed bag with computers. Unfortunately, we can't really reverse what has been done to us in terms of the food, the air, the water, the this, the that. We're all source. And I think the test is when you empower yourself to see all is source and start empowering your body to heal. It's going to take time and a lot of effort and work, but it can be done. People have done it before. What is in your emotional body that you need to release? What is it within you that you can change your mindset and stop complaining and start focusing on? I focus on in my meditations, and when I play frequency, I actually imagine my teeth growing back out. I visualize my spine being back in alignment. Whew. What a concept. And I've had a lot of health issues my whole life. So to be here and not be able, not going to the doctor, it's a good thing. Do I need to go to the doctor? Absolutely. I need to see what's going on within my blood that I don't have the machinery to see it. They still hold a function and a purpose. These people that are taking care of us still have a function. Teachers still have a function. You can't just scrap all of it because that's a part of the experience you signed up for. We still are living and functioning in a third dimensional capacity. Even if our consciousness are on the higher scales of thinking and level of consciousness is soaring and arising, you still have 3D shit to deal with. This morning it was 30 degrees outside. I had frost on everything. That was not fun. I'm glad I didn't plant my plants just yet because it's really freezing out. That's why I'm all nice and snuggled. But it's a matter of mindset. Change your mindset. Change the way you're thinking. Visualize you being healthy. When you're sitting and complaining and lowering your vibration, yeah, a lot of us and a lot of the times we don't feel good. But I don't wear that ugly on my face. I haven't since I was a little kid. I dealt with everything. And I hope all of you will do the same. And I bring that up because we don't know what this technology is going to be. We don't know who's behind the technology that is now coming. And a lot of these articles that I'm going to read, they're just scarier and scarier every time I read them. And it's not scary in terms of fear, just the concepts. Just the mind-blowing awness that they're expanding science, and science is really at its forefront of a new cycle. We might find out that we're no longer bound by ontological mathematics, but some other mathematics that doesn't even have a name yet. They're still trying to figure out quantum entanglement and quantum mechanics. There's new laws and new things that they're all working on. They're speculating right now. There's hypotheses out there. There's experiments happening. I don't always agree with the shit, but coffee is very much needed this morning. So the first article, Charming Science.com by, our favorite friend, Mohammed Quasar Rather. How a laser plasma collider can turn light into matter in a matter of seconds. Sounds very godlike to me because we are homoluminescent. Even though we don't physically see ourselves glowing, if you had night vision, you get to see your heat signature. But eventually, down the road, we might have technology to actually capture our light essence, and not the heat signature, but our light. Sorry, guys, I am not comfortable. Jesus. Sorry, Yeshua. Yes, I wear camo. Fun times. A team led by researchers at Osaka University and University of California, San Diego, has conducted simulations of creating matter solely from collisions of light particles. Their method circumvents what would otherwise be intensely limitations of modern lasers and can be readily implemented by using presently available technology. This work might help experimentally test long-standing theories such as the standard model of particle physics and possibly the need to revise them. That's my point. We already have the groundwork made out in science and physics of things that are there, but now we're in the dawn of a new age. These things are going to either be scrapped or they're going to be improved upon, which is not a bad thing. We just got to keep in mind in what polarity is this being done in, and is this a benefit to humanity? As always, we need to get the light manifested and feed the earth its positive polarity. In a study in physical review letters, a team led by researchers at Osaka University has stimulated conditions that enable photon/photon collisions solely by using lasers. The simplicity of the setup and ease of implementation at presently available laser intensities make it a promising candidate for a near future experimental implementation. Photon-photon collision is theorized to be a fundamental means by which matter is generated in the universe, and it arises from Einstein's well-known equation E equals mc squared. In fact, researchers have indirectly produced matter from light by high-speed acceleration of metal ions, such as gold, into one another. At such high speeds, each ion is surrounded by photons, and upon grazing past each other, matter and antimatter are produced. However, it is challenging to produce matter experimentally in modern laboratories through the sole use of a laser light because of the extremely high power lasers required. Simulating how this feat might be achieved in a laboratory could bring about experimental breakthrough. So that's what the researchers set out to do. Jesus. Our simulations demonstrate that when interacting with the intense electromagnetic fields of the laser, dense plasma can self-organize to form a photon-photon collider, explains Dr. Sugimoto, lead author of the study. This collider contains a dense population of gamma rays, 10 times denser than the density of electrons in the plasma, and whose energy is 1,000,000 times greater than the energy of the photons in the laser. Light is energy. Light has information in it. Just imagine when you say you instantaneously manifest something and it appears in front of you materially. This is the technology and the science that they're trying to discover right now. Is how you could put will into a vibratory state that brings the light waves, the photons, and the electromagnetic spectrum, and voila, something comes up out of your manifestation. Instead of not even working on it, putting it together, it just materializes. That's this article, just in scientific terms. Pretty cool. They're going to try to use lasers to get matter. What kind of matter, we don't know. It's not a brick wall, but it's probably chemical or a substance of metal. I'll read the bottom. As of course, those of you who don't know, I skip around in articles. I link all the articles in the description of this video. So if you're interested in reading more and seeing the graphs and the fun stuff, please do so. I don't share screen only because of all the ads that pop up. I don't get paid for them. And why the hell am I going to put up a million ads? No thanks. Application of this work to the fictional matter energy conversion technology of Star Trek remain just that, fiction. Nevertheless, this work has the potential to help experimentally confirm theories of composition of the universe, or perhaps even help discover previously unknown physics. So this first thing seems pretty well rounded in the positive. It's basically trying to figure out how can we materialize something manifested. A pen. But they are doing it experimental stuff using light. Now, if we can harness our light, and we can harness our minds, maybe the will and intention can be the laser. You never know. So I thought that was really interesting to start us off with. Because eventually we're going to be there. We're going to be in a state where things are just going to manifest materially in front of us. The material world doesn't drop off until like late 5th, I believe. And that might be sooner than that. Oh, I got such an itch on my leg. Better. I mean, and then think about next level, higher density. How do these things materialize? And this is what they're trying to figure out in this 3D world. It's pretty interesting. This next article is by quantumagazine.org. Mathematicians marvel at crazy cuts through 4 dimensions. Topologists prove 2 new results that bring some order to the confoundingly difficult study of 4-dimensional shapes. This is by Jordana Salepsic. Whoa, that's the last name I definitely can't project. Siepelewitz, something like that. Sorry. The central objects of study in topography are spaces called manifolds, which look flat when you zoom in on them. The surface of a sphere, for instance, is a 2-dimensional manifold. They understand such 2-dimensional manifolds very well, and they have developed tools that let them sense of 3-dimensional manifolds and those with 5 or more dimensions. But in 4 dimensions, everything goes a bit cray-cray, says Sam Hughes, a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Oxford. Tools stop working. Exotic behavior emerges. At Tom Morakwa of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology explained, there's just enough room to have interesting phenomena, but not so much room that they fall apart. In early 1990s, Harvard University was studying how 2-dimensional surfaces can be embedded within 4-dimensional manifolds. They developed new techniques to characterize these surfaces, allowing them to gain critical insights into otherwise inaccessible structure of 4-dimensional manifolds. Their findings suggest that the members of a broad class of surfaces are sliced through their parent manifold in a relatively simple way, leaving a fundamental property unchanged, but no one could prove this was always a truth. interesting. Four-dimensional manifolds that are simply connected can still be plenty strange. To understand them, mathematicians ponder what can happen to the two-dimensional surfaces embedded in them. By analogy, think about layering a loop of string flat on a piece of paper. There's not much you can do with it, but lift it up into three-dimensional space, and you could tie it into complicated knots. The ways in which you can manipulate the string of one-dimensional manifold clearly clarify the nature of space is embedded in it. Similarly, in the more complicated world of four dimensions, two-dimensional surfaces are kind of a key to the whole business in many different ways. Surfaces tell you much more about a four-dimensional manifold than you have any right to expect. Surfaces let you distinguish between manifolds. If a surface can live inside one manifold, but not another, you know the manifolds are different and surfaces can be used to build new manifolds out of old ones. Surfaces also have corresponding fundamental groups, and so do their complements, the part of the manifold that is left over when you take the surface away. Remove the equator from two-dimensional manifolds like the surface of a sphere or a donut, for instance, and you get two disconnected halves, but the donut surface remains in one piece if you remove a vertical ring instead of a horizontal one. Similarly, depending on how you cut a surface out of four-dimensional manifold, you can get different kinds of complements. Moving around here, the result is yet another example of how complicated four-dimensional topography can get. There are more interesting embeddings of surfaces than we thought. Hughes said, this makes it more difficult to classify manifolds and harder to prove their kinds of results about them. So yeah, we're moving in up on mathematical terms. I hate this BS. I don't know why that does that, but it does. The ads on some of these, whoo, piss me off. So the next article is by phys.org, physics.org, April 19th, 2024, by Eric Gridnick, Michigan State University. I don't know why my computer makes noises. Emerging nuclear physics experiments and astronomical observations to advance equation of state research. Sorry if my camera is being nauseating today. It nauseates me. For most stars, neutron stars and black holes are their final resting places. When a supergiant star runs out of fuel, it expands and then rapidly collapses on itself. This act creates a neutron star, an object denser than our sun, crammed into a space 13 to 18 miles wide. In such a heavily condensed stellar environment, most electrons combine with protons to make neutrons, resulting in a dense ball of matter consisting mainly of neutrons. Researchers try to understand the forces that control this process by creating dense matter in the laboratory through colliding neutron-rich nuclei and taking detailed measurements. Fun times. In nuclear physics, we often confined to studying small systems, but we know exactly what particles are in our nuclear systems. Stars provide us an unbelievable opportunity because they are large systems where nuclear physics plays a vital role. But we do not know for sure what particles are in their interiors, says Lynch, professor of nuclear physics of RIB in the Michigan State University Department of Physics and Astronomy. They are interesting because the density varies greatly within such large systems. Nuclear forces play a dominant role within them, yet we know comparatively little about the role. When a star with a mass that is 20 to 30 times that of our sun exhausts its fuel, it cools, collapses, and explodes in a supernova. After this explosion, only the matter in the deepest part of the star's interior coalesces to form a neutron star. This neutron star has no fuel to burn, and over time it radiates its remaining heat into the surrounding space. Scientists expect that matter in the outer core of a cold neutron star is roughly similar to the matter in atomic nuclei, but the three differences, neutron stars, are much larger. They are denser in their interiors, and a larger fraction of their nucleons are neutrons. Deep within the inner core of a neutron star, the composition of neutron star matter remains a mystery. Possibly. Skipping around here. Researchers seeking the EOS often calculate it as a higher temperature or lower densities. They then draw conclusions from the system across a wider range of conditions. However, physicists have come to understand in recent years that an EOS obtained from an experiment is only relevant for a specific range of densities. I'm finally happy that people are talking about densities in the right way. As a result, the team needed to pull together data from a variety of accelerator experiments that use different measurements of colliding nuclei to replace those assumptions with data. In this work, we asked two questions, said Lynch. For a given measurement, what density does this measurement probe? After that, we ask what the measurement tells us about the equation of state at the density. In its recent paper, the team combined its own experiments from accelerator facilities in the United States and Japan and pulled together data from 12 different experimental constraints and 3 neutron star observations. The researchers focused on determining the EOS for nuclear matter, ranging from half to 3 times a nuclei's saturation density, the density found at the core of all stable nuclei. By producing the comprehensive EOS, the team provided new benchmarks for the larger nuclear physics and astrophysics communities to more accurately model interactions of nuclear matter. We're still fuzzing around with nuclear. Fuzzing. So I'm happy they're mentioning densities, because a lot of this stuff does not happen in third density. It happens in higher densities. It's illusory. There's a firmament in my projection and interpretation thereof. Who knows? Just a lot to ponder, which I like. Oh. Sorry guys, this is a new one. It's viral once.xyz. A quantum computer has simulated a wormhole for the first time. Now, before I even get into it, because the format of this article is a little wonky. Simulated in what way? Like, did it actually physically create it, or did it put it up like Photoshop in Final Cut Pro on the computer? And here's a black hole. I don't know, but we're going to read. What is a holographic wormhole? Because we live in a holographic simulation, so let's figure this out. A holographic wormhole is a theoretical construct used in physics to simplify some of the most complex problems in the universe, where quantum mechanics, the science of very, very small, and general relativity, the science of the very large, intersect. These areas often involve black holes and require a way to merge these two theories, which traditionally do not align well. Truth. Does quantum computing help? Quantum computing provides a unique advantage in simulating phenomena where traditional computing fails to capture the nuances of quantum mechanics. Here's how it aids in simulating a holographic wormhole. Quantum entanglement, my friend. Quantum computers are principles like quantum entanglement, where particles become interconnected, and the state of one, whether it's spin, position, etc., can depend on the state of another, no matter the distance between them. Simplifying complex systems. By simulating a wormhole, quantum computers allow physicists to bypass the need for general relativity, focusing instead on quantum effects that can act as a substitute for gravitational effects. Simulation details. They simulate a type of wormhole that theoretically could allow a message, in this case, a quantum state, to pass from one black hole to another. They already do this in reality. Quantum teleportation. This message's journey through the wormhole was not literal passage, but a quantum teleportation, where a qubit in a superposition state, both 0 and 1, was transmitted between entangled particles. What does this mean for quantum gravity? This experiment is a small but critical step towards understanding quantum gravity, a theory that seeks to explain how gravity works within the framework of quantum mechanics. Here's why this is important. Testing theories simulating a wormhole allows physicists to test the boundaries and implications of quantum gravity theories in a controlled environment. Scaling up. As quantum computers grow in power and capability, the complexity of the simulations can increase, offering more detail. Someone's thinking about me. And insights. Final thoughts. While the experiment was low resolution and limited in scope, it represents a pioneering approach to solving one of physics' most daunting challenges. Quantum simulations like these could eventually help us understand the universe at its most fundamental levels. So black holes are God. It's a part of God. It's a function of God, source, the all, the energy, the quantumess, princess, quantum prince, king, queen of all being. And when things have to kind of destruct and refresh, like you refresh your browser, I think that's really what a black hole really does. It takes all the dense, negative, or positive matter that is not working in such universes, information that is no longer thus needed in the quanta, goes through a black hole, and it kind of like comes out the other side like a fresh baby with new linens that smells delicious. And that singularity point is probably where a lot of things are reconfigured. We go back to space dust, so we are fractaled and fractured from all of our own known senses. As Shiana Dean describes this, going through the black hole. The black hole, there's matrices that incur in the black hole. And when you read her stuff, it's sentient, meaning it's from source, but it's also another means of going back to source. So what happens if you are on one side of a black hole with entangled information, and it goes through a black hole and it remerges and it's the same? It's complicated. What's going on in my mind right now is very complicated to describe. But if we can imagine that if Ashiana Dean is correct, I'm not saying she is, that there is a black hole matrix, and that's how we would go back to space dust. We would fragment our soul essence would fragment. We wouldn't have a recognition or an acknowledgement consciously of what we are and who we are because we were scattered of the wind, but we would be recapitulated energetically to some other form on the other side of that black hole, or be sucked in as energy to feed that matrix. It's a lot to think of. But what happens if black holes, certain black types of black holes, could be used as teleporters? You jump in to the black hole and you're reconfigured in another form or the same form, but in a different location. I know that's what wormholes are, but does wormholes go through black holes? Then we can apply string theory to everything, and then your mind can go more bonkers. It's, you know, when you see Star Trek or Star Wars and they go into warp speed and they kind of like zip out that visual, I wonder if they could do that through a black hole. Lots of these things I ponder all the time because I've seen some of it, and I've actually, not physically in this body, but like my light body has gone through a lot of these things, and there's really no words to put to the experiences that many of us do have. I mean, you're seeing lights, you're feeling warpy and weird and wonky, and physically you're feeling the vibratory states and frequency of going through these things in your light body. But there's really no words to put the absolute breathtaking visuals that you get when you're going through these things. And you can consciously recollect that. Bizarre. For time saving, I'm going to link Atlas Explorer's Z Boson production with heavy flavor quarks. So that's particle physics. Yeah. Fun times with that. Just interesting stuff there. Another thing to look into. This is Digimed.com. More advanced civilizations might set aside our planet as a zoo wherein they can observe us. Zoo hypothesis suggested. You know, it's interesting because when I read that, like the first thing that sprung to mind was that we're in a globe, like you shake us up, and an alien made an experiment and we're like the sea monkeys in the globe, and that we're on somebody's shelf somewhere. But a lot of us think these things, and we've had those visuals before where like a gray alien is looking down at the globe and there's us within the globe, and it's very interesting pondering. I know many of us have had very similar thoughts about that. It says the Fermi paradox, rooted in Enrico Fermi's question, "Where is everybody?" explores the discrepancy between the high likelihood of extraterrestrial life and a lack of observable evidence. We'll get to that. Proposed solutions to the Fermi paradox include the zoo hypothesis, suggesting that advanced alien civilizations may be intentionally avoiding contact with humanity to allow for natural evolution. Pause. Yes. So in preparing for contact, I've read it on this channel. In terms of, I didn't do a book review yet, but I've read some quotes from the book We, as humanity, hi, us humans, we need to raise our frequency in order to see them. They're here. They've been here. We know this. When you raise your frequency to theirs, you'll be able to see them in plain sight. You'll see the ships. You can't see them because you need to raise your vibratory and frequency and your states of consciousness in order to perceive them. Here and there, they drop through density. They lower their density for us to see them. But if we want to see them on an everyday basis, we need to raise our frequency. Plain and simple, we need to meet our frequency to them. They're not going to drop too much lower because then they'll probably get stuck here, or they just feel like shit because this is a hard density to be in. They are leaving us alone to the extent that they're not anymore. They're helping us. The positive polarized entities are helping us raise our consciousness. They are helping the radiant rays of the central sun get to us. They're helping give unconditional love frequency so that we have the means to raise our awareness consciously. A lot of the other groups are also helping our genetic DNA upgrading by honing in on the frequency of Earth and honing in on the frequency that's in and around us. They're manipulating it to help us, not to destroy us. So yeah, you could say that this is semi-true, that they're looking down on us like we're in a globe and that they are helping us. Enough of us have screamed out for help and asked for humanity to get aided, and here it is. So I think this is a very interesting article here. The Great Filter hypothesis, introduced by economist Robin Hanson, posits universal factors inhibiting the evolution of life to advanced stages, contributing to the silence in the cosmos. I think a lot of the negative polarized entities have been here and trying to have power over us for eons and decades and millennia and cycles of each of the earth cycles. Why we can't see them, they don't want us to know about them, because as much as they can manipulate us, we don't know, and we just keep feeding them loose. Analogous to the Prime Directive in Star Trek, the zoo hypothesis proposes that extraterrestrial civilizations may uphold non-interference principles. They do, refraining from contact with the developing societies. That is correct to an extent, because we all have free will, whereas in higher densities and higher civilizations don't have freedom of will. They work in unity consciousness. It's not hive mind because they're individualized in their thinking, but they work together as units and groups. They all contribute to what happens and what goes on. If they were to come here, and they have done this already in social memory complexes right after the fall of Atlantis, and they have given higher technology than a human civilization can handle, it gets manipulated and it gets turned to the evil side. Why, like I said, the technologies like medbeds have been in existence, but what side deemed it and wanted it? And as much as we can turn the positive frequency in those machines to super positive, the means in which it came into existence on this realm is not of a good one. Despite its intriguing premise, the zoo hypothesis faces criticism from its speculative nature and lack of empirical evidence, because of course we can't, as humans, have untangible evidence, because, you know, we're crazy if we see something that no one else can, highlighting the ongoing complexity of understanding potential extraterrestrial communication. delve into the depths of the Fermi Paradox series once more as we explore potential solutions to Enrico Fermi's age-old inquiry. Where is everybody? Today, our focus shifts to the intriguing notion that advanced extraterrestrial civilizations may purposely be evading contact with us. No, they're just talking to the wrong people. That's really what's happening. I'm going to skip around here. The Great Filter or the Prime Directive. As previously discussed, economist Robin Hanson introduced the Greater Filter hypothesis in 1996 study, suggesting the existence of universal mechanisms hindering the advancement of life. Conversely, alternate perspective posit that extraterrestrial intelligences might be abundant, but they're incapable or disinclined to engage with humanity, citing reasons ranging from self-preservation to adherence to a moral imperative of non-interference with nascent civilizations. The resurgence of Kardashev's scale. This brings us back to the seminal work of Nikola Kardashev and his scale outlined in 1964 essay. The scale, type 1 civilizations or planetary civilizations harness all available planetary energy at 12 watts. Type 2 civilizations or stellar civilizations wield control over the entire star system's 26 watts. Type 3 civilizations or galactic civilizations command the energy of an entire galaxy's 37 watts. Within SETI community, the plausibility of type 1 and type 2 civilizations within our galaxy garners considerable support. With the Milky Way boasting the billions of stars and potentially habitable exoplanets, coupled with its vast age, it's conceivable that humanity is not the first intelligent species to emerge. Definitely we are not. Thus, we comfort a pivotal question: how could civilizations that arose millions of years ago perceive entities like humanity? Would they seek to establish contact and exchange knowledge, or opt to conceal their presence? Herein lies the crux of the zoo hypothesis, diverging from conventional SETI paradigms. Well, here's the problem. Debunking the half of this. Before I sneeze, hang on. I had to get that out really bad. Here's the thing. We're all of source. They are us, we are them. There are other selves. What a concept. All the planets in the galaxies were all connected via quantum entanglement with the fractals of our essence in each of those things. We make up everything. When you can comprehend that big on a scale, holy fucking shitballs. We are a component of it all. So they have fragmented also essences that have a bit of them in us. Therefore, they know that they can't entangle higher concepts and stuff until it's ready and our civilization moves forward. We're there at that crux and point. We really need to be consciously aware that we're a part of it all and that there is no separation. It's a bigger concept to wrap your head around. It's huge. But those extraterrestrials are us in polarized forms, if you would say that they're at 6 density, no longer evil or good, because it's beyond that. But playing out in the theaters here is 3, 4, 5. And we perceive a war, which really is not necessarily a war. It's just how we learn. Despite its conceptual appeal, the zoo hypothesis has faced criticism. Of course, because, we're all one. In conclusion, while the zoo hypothesis offers insights into potential reasons for humanity's apparent isolation in the cosmos, we are in quarantine. We're coming out of that now. It remains an unproven conjecture. Its adoption by proponents of messaging extraterrestrial intelligence underscores the ongoing debate regarding our approach to interstellar communication and the broader implications of contacting potential extraterrestrial civilizations. Did they not understand the Granada Treaty, Project Serpo, the Draconians, the Palladians, the Syrians and Andromedans, the Arcturians, that we all communicate to an extent with all of them? The inner earth beings, like, hi, we have never been alone, and we are just a little subsection of a vast, broad universe that's within this little Milky Way system. Wrap your head around that, and that we're all tied into it all. As much as we want to say that we're in a globe, we are to an extent, and that the globe will smash at some point, and we will be free to wisp away to different lands beyond the veil or the firmament. And we will not have too much of an issue seeing something not like us. I think a lot of humans are still fearful because of the fear that has been injected into society based off of the draconians are bad and these people are bad and this is bad and they're evil. Okay, no, they just function differently. They function on fear and anxiety and nervousness, and that's what they eat off of. So when you stop feeding them, they don't become any more scary than the ugly doll that's in the corner of a room in a haunted house. You leave it alone, it doesn't bother you. Just saying, just giving that analogy there. But yeah, here evil and good are still a primary thing. But when you raise your consciousness, go to a little higher and a little higher, there is none of this shit. It's all experience. It's all gaining of knowledge and understanding. It's tests. If you weren't tested, you wouldn't really go far besides the rock consciousness that you started out in first density. Boring. We really need to take this article into effect and understand the bigger picture. This helps you see a bigger picture. It makes you think outside of your paradigm box. Explore it. As much as there has been wars and civilizations being conquered and taken over, it's no longer up. It's only up in fourth and possibly lower fifth density that this is occurring. After that, it stops. The negative polarized entities need to polarize. If Ra is correct, Quo, and all of those entities are correct, they got to polarize to positive in order to become into the unity. So if that really is the case, then this is only playing out in the theaters near you in the next two densities, and not all of the octaves in those densities. Mind-blowing. Okay, this article doesn't want to come up. What goes on here? So another two, I have another two left. Model of ever-expanding universe confirmed by dark energy probe by science.org. And this is by Daniel Cleary. So I've talked about this dark energy, dark matter kind of nonsense. the standard theory of cosmology, which says 95% of the universe is made up of unknown stuff. It's not unknown, it's just stuff we haven't put a name to and labeled yet, has passed its strictest test yet. The first results realized from an instrument designed to study the cosmic effects of mysterious dark energy confirm that to the nearest 1%, the universe has evolved over the past 11 billion years, just as theorists have predicted. It is just a theory, folks. One of the most powerful ways to measure the expansion is via the distribution of galaxies. On the largest scales, galaxies aren't spread out evenly, but tend to clump together in clusters. This is an artifact of the time just after the Big Bang, 13.8 billion years ago, when there were no galaxies or even stars, just roiling gases of particles, including hydrogen and helium nuclei, types of particles known as baryons. Science world high. When you stop taking source, the energy, you don't need to put a label to God, the infinite creator, the infinite intelligence, consciousness. When thou spoke into a vibratory state of frequency of gases, molecules, and mathematics, all freaking right? We don't know how long this existence has been in. And that's just this universe, this super universe. As you can go back to Urantia, there is like 7 of them, super universes. So when this one was created, it was created as an experiment, possibly the Earth, possibly other explorations of things that we are not cognizant of just yet. And without good, there is no evil. So positive, negative, anti, not, all of this stuff. If you just ask a spiritual person that understands the physics, it's always been in existence. And leave it at that. These things piss me off. So once again, we have from sciencenews.org, tiny accelerators get electrons up to speed using lasers. So I'm not going to read the article. I'm going to link it if you're interested. A lot of these things that I'm just partially reading just to save time, they're going to be in the description. We have direct energy weapons that are lasers, and as much as lasers are there for the positive polarity, they are there for the negative polarity. We really need to keep our eyes on this technology and what it's being used on and how it's being used with and for. These things can get a little scary, and especially if AI is attached to a laser to direct it to a certain spot, you could either, we already seen it in multiple places in the United States where they're using direct energy weapons to destroy things. So if they're using tiny lasers for acceleration of particles and all this stuff, we can only imagine what could happen from space, time, or the firmament, or the illusion, whatever. What could they create with lasers? Scary. And just like, if we watched MIB, Men in Black, and all the little gadgets that they had, and the small little cricket gun, right? Accelerators that fit on top of a coin could find uses in medicine and science. As much as, once again, we don't know where this technology is going or what purpose it has. It would be nice to have those little tiny nano cameras that they, that tell you to swallow so they can have a camera go down your GI tract to see what the hell is going on in your system, right? Cool would it be if there's a tiny little nano laser that laser beams out cancer or cauterizes areas that has extra tissue, endometriosis. Like, these things would be freaking fantastic if people would just use it for means of keeping us alive and not destroying us. There's a lot of things that they put out there because they caused the shit, and now they have to find expensive ways to heal the shit. And medicine should be given to all, not to just who can afford it. It's a scary avenue to walk down. I know lots of people are having lots of surgeries right now. A lot of people are not feeling the greatest. A lot of people have had accidents that have pushed them back a bit. But we always have to inquire into our own selves. Why did I write this into my script? Is my body capable of receiving the information via light and radiation to uphold, to move on in this vehicle? Or am I going to physically die to get a better, brand new, upgraded vehicle? It's like getting a new car. All the technology in that new car, all the advancements and upgrades. You're not driving a hoopty from 1960. You are upgraded into the here and now. And I feel that that's what's going to happen to a lot of us. I might be one of them. I'm not going to lie, it doesn't bother me one bit. Hello, Valhalla. I'm okay with dying and taking my body. I think it's going to be a momentous moment when that does happen. I want my pattern damn moment now, right? I'm not attached. Just not attached. And when we stop attaching emotional states to things and absolutely pour out unconditional love. I love so many things. I love life. I love this experience. As much as it's been burdensome and stressful, and there's not, I'm not getting the clarity I need to move forward. And a lot of things are unknown, and I'm giving my faith to the universe that I'm going to find a way to get there. Life isn't meant to be a struggle, but that's how we learn, through struggle and adversity. I'm young, and at what point do I get to enjoy life? I only get little blips on a map when I can enjoy and have a nice experience that doesn't last more than an hour. I've never been on a vacation for reals, never really been on a vacation. Every other time I ever traveled was because I had a function or an event. I didn't really get to spend time and just do me. So it'd be very interesting to see how my life unfolds. But we got to raise our consciousness big time. We still have to be aware of the technology that is coming out and choose. It's a choice whether to buy into it or not. If people were to only understand watching Terminator in the time of now, understanding that this technology was sourced by the negative polarity, why would you want a robot that was meant for the negative polarity? Why would you want a med bed that was brought here by the negative polarity for negative purposes? Even if it is turned to positive, we don't know. There's a lot of unknowns. People promising you fucking bullshit. my metaphorical clock is still ticking when this stuff is incoming. You know why it's not coming? Because we have yet to raise the frequency of humanity to see it, to manifest it. That zoo hypothesis BS, what they lack in understanding is that when your consciousness is in a higher state, you see things that other people can't. That is aliens, that is ships, that is 4D shit. You have to raise your frequency to meet the energy to see it and experiencing it. You can't do that if you're stuck. And we're all working on this process. This is not tomorrow I'm going to raise my frequency and I'm going to see aliens. No, this takes time. It takes time. Like I said, when I was a little kid, I saw so much shit. I saw demons, I saw aliens, I saw it all. As I got older, that sight left me, sort of. I see things perceptually out of the corners of my eyes, and sometimes I can see it when I'm like in a very enhanced state that I'm holding. I'm not just peeping into, I'm holding that state for a while and I can see it. But I feel it more than anything else. I have the knowing, consciously, cognizantly, the knowing. I'm not there yet to hold that frequency. It's a big job and it's a very big energy drain to sit in that high frequency and hold it for a long period of time to see things manifest in front of us. We're all in different stages, but a lot of us aren't even there yet. Even us that are higher ended, that are expanded. It's physically holding frequency in this vehicle. That's not easy. It's going to get easier when we all start manifesting the reality to the positive. It will be easier when we match Mother Gaia and we help her uplift the octaves of the astral fourth. We're helping steer this ship higher. But in order for more of us to get this, more of us have to work on ourselves. More of us have to heal. More of us have to do the work. It's a frequency field. It's energy fields. I'm putting mine out. I know a bunch of you are putting yours out, but we need more people to put theirs out. And then more things will be able to be seen visually in the tandem universe. I'm starting to feel tired. Damn these 5 o'clock in the mornings. Seriously, coffee. So guys, please understand that we still need to keep the pulse on these articles. That's why I do them here and there. I do them sporadically because I get some really good ones, and then I like to put it out when I get a bunch of them together so that we see where we're at on this level of existence. Really, somebody's thinking about me. My nose is super itchy. Once we raise the consciousness, once we get the fear out of the way of the aliens and what they look like and if they're evil or not, like, let's stop, just stop with that evil, look beyond good and evil. Because when you feed it fear, it's going to eat it and it's going to perpetuate and continue its shit. When you don't feed it, you can just see it for what it is and kind of ignore it and let it go. But having an understanding of it, it's here. It's a part of us. We're a part of it. It's our shadow aspects. Great. Now let's move on. Stop personalizing shit. They are us, we are them. And we are multiple entities. We're not just one race, we're multiple races. And we all harmoniously are making up the infinitude of this universe. You are in all things, and all things are in you. When you are really in that understanding of there is no separation, you separated from source, but you are source. So how separate can you be? You're just a fragment of an essence that's scattered across dimensions and densities. That's the hardest separation of understanding that you could possibly have. That you're scattered amongst the wind. That's why there's separation in this realm. But we're going to merge back with our other selves, and our other selves are merging with us. And we're going to unify into a super being of amazing love and light. If my estimations and interpretations thereof are correct. Anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this quantum AI and metaphysical ponderings. Please check out some of the articles if you're interested. They are going to be linked in the description of this video. And please enjoy the rest of your week. For those of you in the plains in the Midwest, please be safe, be seen. There is a lot of weather that will be incoming that's been seeded here, and we need to transmute it. So even though Earth has to cleanse, let's make it a easier cleanse. Sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, and grace, protection and shielding energy. Please be safe and be seen. Please raise your frequency. See the light that you are. Be the lighthouse to spread that frequency. Be the joy. Be the love. Be the hug. Be the shoulder. And most of all, be your authentic self. And step into that frequency of love for yourself. It's not service to self. It is service to others when you service yourself. So until the next one, guys, sending you all my love, all my light, and my compassion. I hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That helps me more than anything else. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.